Imagine being a Roman soldier, the might of the empire at your back, the eagle's standard glinting in the sunlight. You've conquered half the known world. You believe your empire is eternal. And then, you march into a forest. Days later, silence. No survivors, no legions, just bones scattered among the trees. This is the story of the Battle of Teutoburg Forest, where Rome's pride met its greatest humiliation, and where 3 entire legions simply vanished. At the dawn of the 1st century, Rome was unstoppable. Emperor Augustus ruled an empire that stretched from Spain to Syria, an iron machine of order, discipline, and conquest. But one frontier remained wild: Germania, dense forests, endless rivers, tribes that fought like ghosts, striking fast, disappearing into the mist. To Rome, these tribes were barbarians, uncivilized, untamed, and unworthy of empire. So, in the year 9 CE, Augustus sent his best man, Publius Quinctilius Varus, to bring Roman order to the wilderness. Varus was confident, arrogant. He marched into Germania with 3 of Rome's finest legions, the 17th, 18th, and 19th, 20,000 men, armor gleaming, standards high, but waiting in the shadows was betrayal. Among Varus's allies was a man named Arminius, a Germanic prince who had been raised in Rome itself. He spoke Latin fluently, wore Roman armor. He was even a Roman officer, the perfect symbol of civilized Germania. But Arminius had not forgotten who he was. To the Romans, he smiled. To his people, he whispered, "The time has come." As summer turned to autumn, Arminius convinced Varus to march deep into unfamiliar territory, to suppress a small rebellion. It was a lie. The legions followed him into Teutoburg Forest, a narrow, swampy, rain-soaked maze of trees and cliffs. Then the storms came. Thunder rolled across the canopy. The roads turned to mud. Wagons broke, soldiers slipped and fell, and from the trees came the first spear. The Roman column stretched for miles, trapped between the forest and the swamp. There was no room to form ranks, no visibility, no order. Arminius's tribes, the Cherushi, Bructeri, and Chatti, attacked in waves. Screams echoed through the fog. The disciplined legions, trained for open-field battle, could do nothing against an invisible enemy. For 3 days, the slaughter continued. Every attempt to regroup failed. Wounded men drowned in the mud. Officers were cut down trying to rally their troops. Standards, the sacred eagles of Rome, fell into enemy hands. Varus, realizing all was lost, fell on his own sword. It was better to die than be captured. By the 4th day, the forest was silent again. When Roman scouts later found the site, they discovered something horrific: thousands of skulls nailed to trees, altars stained with Roman blood, and not a single living man. When the news reached Rome, Augustus was shattered. Ancient sources say he wandered his palace, tearing his clothes and shouting, "Quinctilius Varus, give me back my legions." The psychological blow was enormous. Never before had Rome lost so completely. For years, the northern forests were haunted by the ghosts of those lost legions. Even decades later, Roman troops who visited the site found bones half buried in the dirt. Swords rusted beside them, like silent witnesses to the empire's limits. And that was the end. After Teutoburg, Rome built no more empires in the north. The Rhine River became the border, the edge of civilization. Beyond it lay the unknown. The Battle of Teutoburg Forest was more than a military defeat. It was the day Rome learned that even empires have limits. It taught the world that arrogance can destroy even the strongest armies. And it gave birth to a legend: the forest that swallowed an empire whole. History remembers the victors, but sometimes it's the vanished who leave the loudest echo.